All right, I think everything is good. Hello, I'm making a new tutorial or a tutorial update for the synths because I made a few little changes and I might as well just make a new tutorial entirely from start to finish, setting everything up. Same thing for Substance Painter and same thing for Blender, so just in case. So it'll basically be the same as the last one. If you've seen that one, you're gonna need the Creator Companion, and then you're gonna need SPS Wholesome, Mochi Shader, Poi Shader, VRC Fury, and Unity 2022.3.6 F1. What a lovely name. It basically starts the same. Once you have the VRC Creator Companion, create new project. Select where you're gonna put it. I'm just gonna put it on my desktop. Just put it right there. I'm just gonna call it input to choose avatars for Unity 2022. If you already have this Unity installed, create project. Give it a moment. I might shorten this if, like, cut it a little bit to transition so you're not, having some just like dead air the whole time. And also now that we're here, you'll have all this. Also, well, not everything. You'll have a few, and if you have any updates, you just click them. I just press them. Oh, beta, fantastic. Let's see what this is gonna do. Maybe you probably don't want to click on the one that says beta, but why not? So you basically select everything. Another thing, I know in here it doesn't say it, but I recommend getting Gesture Manager so you could test it inside Unity. So I'll select that one. Uh, VRC Fury, if you have it here. If it's not here, I'll provide a link to where you could get it. It'll even give you a link that you could just like have it be as a default thing to select here. Same thing for the SPS configurator. So once you have that in here, select VRC Fury, and then SPS. And then once it's there, let me just make this bigger because I can't see it. So now I'll have everything in here, everything we need, at least for the moment. Open project. I'm gonna make a cut here so you don't have to wait for Unity to do its thing, but it looks like this. It looks like this strange donut. So I'm just gonna cut right here while I wait. All right. Looks like, oh, never mind. I was wrong. Looks like sometimes it will, even though it finishes doing the compilation or compiling, I don't know how to say the word, but it'll stop again, it'll go again. So if it doesn't do anything, it's probably loading some more. So now that it's done, we basically now import the other two, which would be the Poi Tube and Mochi shader. So let's start with the Mochi shader because it's the smallest one. You just have to double click it, let it do its thing. Right, it has finished importing Mochi shader. Now for the Poyomi, I just use the regular standard Poyomi, the free version. Don't need to get the Poyomi Pro. I really don't see much of a reason for it. It has extra stuff, but it's just like everywhere. So much extra that it's just a mess, at least for me. But yeah, it's just standard all you need. Let's import that one. It's gonna come with something like this. Same thing for the Mochi shader. Import. This one will probably take the longest, so I'm just gonna cut again until it's done. All right, now that that's imported, we have everything of what we need, at least that I remember, at least that I put on the list here. So just following the instructions that I put. So if something goes wrong, then I guess it's on me. But okay, so now we have that. Just gonna close this. That's for the SPS configurator. If you know what the SPS is for, I mean, it already says it there. You probably already read it. So I just have that for the other options. So once you have that, you will unzip the zip that I provided in the Gumroad. It'll be a Unity folder 4.1. That's what the requirements are. Same thing as there. Move that up here. Move that up here. And all you just do is just double click this one. the package, press all, import, and all right. So now that it has installed, or if you have done that and it's finished doing the same thing as you've seen already 3 times, you'll see a folder here that says, well, either the synth male, synth female, or whichever future model I make. Inside here, you'll have all the folders that I made, everything kind of categorized. Inside here, saves, and well, you know what the SPS one is for. Uh, like we're going to go with the safe for work one. We'll click that, load it in, and all right, it has loaded them in. And then just to make sure everything is on, make sure this little ball is on. Also, you want to see if the skybox is working. It just this is for the HDRI. And if you have like if I have it like things that have effects on it, I click on always refresh, but there's nothing here that needs it. Just making sure you have 3D icons, basically the same thing you see here, just to make sure everything is one to one. So if I click it, there we go. You could actually see the bones for the fizz bones, the angle constraints and everything. Well, not constraints, but the settings to limit the angles, and that everything is working. The view ball is in here, so I'm gonna just talk about that in a moment. And then if you have this selected, you should see the descriptor in here where all the blend shapes, well, the visemes, and then you'll have the thing for the eye look, the blink, the FX, the menu, and the parameter. One thing, sometimes, because I have a habit of forgetting, sometimes there'll be something here that says detach optional. If it has that option to detach optional, press detach it. Sometimes I forget to do it, and that could be an issue when uploading it if it's there. So, and the next thing, let's say you've already like ignored everything or whatever, and you're already uploading it, and you're having some, I don't know, maybe depending on everybody's height, that sometimes when you look down while in VR mode, it looks like you're clipping into your chest. You just press this little edit button for the view position to adjust the view ball, forward or back, up or down, left or right, even though I don't know why you want to do left or right. Yeah, and then you just press return. But yeah, now that everything is imported, another little test, because this is the Digi version. There's 3 versions in here. There's the Digi version, which the Digi version, or Digidegrade version, however you want to say it, has the Digi leg setup. This is the Plenty version. This one just has the standard, just like the hip bone, shin, all here, and then the foot. And then this one is the same as this one, although the main difference is that this is basically the one that is Quest capable. I will talk more about that later. But like, so you have 2 to choose from. Both have their pros and cons a little bit. I just give them both options. The pro to this one is like, yes, the leg will basically flex better, but there could be issues where, like, depending on the person's height, and also if you're doing straight like sitting and stuff like that, or like wild movements, this can end up locking a little bit, and like the foot can look like it's broken. Same thing, like if you're in desktop mode, it could also look a little weird if you're crouched down and stuff like that. This one will probably would give you well, it should give you a more accurate deformation and accurate following of your body compared to this one, but your foot will be flexing here as opposed to the entire foot flexing on the character. So it's kind of like choose which one you want. Both of them use the same material, so if you affect one, it will affect the other one, except for the Quest version or the Quest capable version. Right now this is set up for the PC, but I'll show how to like turn it into the Quest capable version because there's a little more I want to speak on it. But yeah, now that you have that, you just basically select the one you want. You go into VR Chat SDK, which I'm just gonna cut here while. All right. So now that you have that, you go into Builder, Select the one you want. I'm gonna select the planty version. Give it a name, Synth. Leave it a private so people don't clone your avatar. Capture from scene. That's dependent on where your camera is, or you could just select your own custom image. I'm just gonna capture from scene, and these are the settings. Sometimes, like there's another little thing that I have happen. It's the same thing as like ID thing, the detach optional. So like sometimes there will be another little warning here saying write defaults. Usually when I'm, making animations like that, like inside here, there's the FX layer. So, if you go in here, there's a little checkbox. I uncheck that. So basically wherever you go, you know, whatever settings you choose for like the sliders and stuff like that, it won't go back as default. Usually like it would be here, but generally because I'm making new animations, they'll be in here, and then there'll be an extra thing. And if there's anything in here, you just delete it. I try to make sure there's nothing in here, but if you see that error, it's probably because I forgot to delete the stuff. So if you want to know how to get in there, like if the window's open, you go to animation animator. This will pop up along with this. Go into the FX one, so this is the safe for work one. Go in there, it'll pop up here. Go to all parts, and if you see it there, just delete it, and it should fix the issue. But yeah, just another thing. Same thing as the detach option. There's another thing. Just so that little fix that if I forget. And if I do, if it does have it, also let me know so I can try to correct the issue. So it doesn't pop up. I'll try my best. So once you have that, give it a name, give it a thumbnail, capture from scene. So you could either build and test or build and publish. I would generally recommend build and test first because it's easier, quicker to build than build and publish. So you could test stuff out. Nobody will be able to see the avatar, but all that matters is that you can see what you're doing, and and then when you're happy, you press build and publish. Uh, but even before that, I'm just gonna have this here for the moment. I'm gonna go to scene. One of the things that hopefully I described told to download would be the gesture manager emulator. It's a pretty neat tool. So instead of it's like a step even before building and test. So you go into tools, gesture manager, emulator, you add it. I have it already here. Enter play mode. It'll do the same thing. It'll load it. So yeah, the characters are kind of, well, one's going to be down there, but it's fine. You select the one you want. So if I go to Planty one, make sure. Oh, if the gesture manager disappears when you select the thing you don't want it to, or anything specifically in the inspector, just press the little lock right here. Sorry. So once you have it locked, you select the one you want. So I'm going to select the Planty, drag and drop it in here. Now it goes basically the pose, the idle pose, like as if you were in VR chat. And in here you could test out everything. You could test out the gestures. So right now there's only like 4 expressions, unless you count the neutral expression, but it's 4 expressions I'm counting. And you could also test out the body, custom body shapes. So I basically have a whole upper body control one, a whole lower one. My mouse is a little busted, so sometimes I misclick. A tail shape, and then you have individual controls, and you can also choose the same thing, lower body, and then you got all controls for this. And you got upper body, you got everything for this. I aim on adding more, but I wanted to kind of start everything pretty clean, and I got rid of the hue and color thing because I'm just going to show on how to make your own custom colors and exporting and putting in here for, something a bit so you can have more control of that rather than just choosing a little hue slider and just trying to dial it like that. So I got rid of that to save on memory. I'm just going to make a tutorial on that. So if everything is working, oh, you could even, where is it? Here, locomotion. You could even, test out kind of like different little positions just to see if everything is working, falling, and everything like that. everything's done. Press the play button. And if you're happy with what you did or what there is and or anything, go to Builder. Let me just make that small again. Go to Builder. Shows plenty. Build and test. Let's just do that. And then you will get the build success. And then that's pretty much it. So those are the for it'll be the same for all three of these. Now just to move on to this one. So let's say you want like the first thing to do, so how I go with it, because it's the way I generally go with it, or at least the way I've seen it, for having the Quest version. I don't know if this is correct or not, but I'm just going to show you anyway. So if you select the one that says L, so BMSLP, Planty, and then it's going to be the Quest one, all right? And then I'm just going to build and publish this one, so it is there. Build and publish. Mochi has not been locked. If it says this, it's basically just it's gonna lock the Mochi shader and only basically export or upload the stuff that's necessary. You just press OK or whatever it tells you. So I'm just gonna build and publish. Everything's the same. Just this is the Quest version. All right. So the thing I expected popped up. So for the Quest capable one, it is one that I made so you can actually upload for Quest if you're a Quest user. But one thing I've noticed, it again, maybe I'm doing something wrong, is that like uploading the PC version first will then give you the prompt to then switch to Android and then select it. So to do that, you just go to Android, press confirm. Some things might break, especially for the other two, all three, but I'm just going to show you how to fix them if something like that happens, and also something extra for the Quest capable version. All right, now that we have done that and switched, so now the next step for making this able to be exported or uploaded for Quest is by switching the material from Poyomi to one of the VR chat provided ones. So you basically go into here, VR chat, mobile, and you could choose any one of these, but I'm just going to choose standard light because I want to show on how to add textures. So let's say you selected this one instead of the tune one. So you press a lock, which I already had. If it's not there, just double click it, or click it twice, and you should see this again. Lock it, and then you just go to textures, safe for work, low, body, and you just add the ones that are missing. Sometimes one of these would be missing, sometimes the emission would be missing, or maybe if you need a metallic one or anything like that, you just click and drag and then add them there like this, and then that's pretty much it. But I don't really need a metallic at the moment. Actually, I'm going to leave that in there. Why not? So let's see if it'll give another thing to show. But that's the one step. Also, let's go into VR chat, SDK, go to Planty version, and then now the next thing that might happen is the same thing for the textures, the bitmaps, or at least if you haven't seen this error before, bitmaps, remit and format that only Android Quest will use. Just press auto fix on these. They generally fix the issue. Okay, so now that those are fixed, now we have another one. And you know what? I'm kind of happy that this one happened. So performance is poor. Don't want that. So to fix that, I just go uncheck this lock. Select all of these. And I had it at 4096 because for PC it's more forgiving, but for Quest it is not. Let's see, 2048, convert to 2048. Let's see if that lessens it. It does. So now it is performance medium. And the only thing that's making it medium is the fizz bones counts. But medium, good middle ground. So now that that's there, we can press this button, and then now we just press build and publish. And then there we go. Now you have uploaded the Android version, the Quest version. And that's pretty much everything on how to do it. And then actually, let's go a little bit further. So let's say you want this back again to the standard shader Poyomi. Well, the first thing, let's go into here, go to Poyomi, to outline early, and now you have that selected. And you just check and make sure everything is here. So these are all the settings. You got texture, normal map. I use stylized specular, which basically has nothing in it. Outlines, emissions. So it's kind of the same few textures that are used. And then if you want this to be used as for PC, then again, you should switch back to Windows, which we shall do again. And then there we go. And now we're back to the PC version with all the settings where they are. And then you just go back in here and then select the one you want. Let's see what will happen if I select this one. Yep, and there it is. And of course it says it can be used as fallback. Same thing, but we just kind of made already the Quest version while switching to Android. So yeah, now you have a fallback, and then and we have the PC version or any of the versions here that you selected. They're the same. Love my mouse double clicking. And then yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just show on how to change the materials or how to use Substance Painter to change the materials you want to put in here. Yeah, this is for the intro. All right, now I'm just going to show, how to add your own textures from Substance Painter or how to export them from Substance Painter and maybe a little bit on how to use Substance Painter, but I would recommend looking up a tutorial on how to use Substance Painter. At the moment, that's the main thing I use because it's the one thing I've always been using because Blender's texturing has always been ass and I don't have a Photoshop. Well, I could if I used the Photoshop, but I don't want to or anything like that. I might make a way for people to use it without using Substance Painter, but I would say I recommend more, at least to try out Substance Painter as a trial or something like that. So I use basically the latest version of Substance Painter. So in here there'll be a save. If you already have Substance Painter, you select the one, the model you're gonna make a change to, either the high poly version, which is these two, the not safe for work high poly version, which is this two but has the not safe for work parts, and the low poly version, which is this one, which is also the one with the Quest version. So I can choose the high poly one. Over here, opening up Substance Painter, it's opening up the other window. See? And then once you open it, you should see this. Basically everything kind of a duplicate of it blown out. So if you texture here, it'll also change it here, or if you change here, it'll change it here. So basically all the stuff here, it's basically like a mirror. So it's just so you could edit this stuff without having to worry about, trying to get in there with little areas. So let's go into here. So I want I want one of the main colors to be, I don't know, this color. Yeah, that'll do. And then we make the emissions for the details, which is this one. For the body, let us make this one, I don't know, let's uh, this one. Yeah, there we go. And then for the eyes, around the same thing as well. I mean, it probably won't have the strongest emission, but let's just go with that. Oh, I made a mistake. This is base color. Actually, I would recommend also changing the base color for the eyes to be the same as the emission or vice versa, just so you won't have any overlap with the blending of colors. So now that we have that, and you're happy with this or whatever you do, go in here, export. I know mine says PBR metallic rough copy. It's because I gave some extra stuff, but you generally don't need any of these. It's just the main thing. So yours would probably say PBR metallic roughness, and then just have less settings over the color, roughness, metallic, normal, height, and emissive, which is fine. So this is the one for the body. This is for the glass. I don't really like put stuff for the glass because it's just a single thing. Unless you want to, it's the same thing. So what I'm doing here, you can do the same thing for the glass. You just make sure you have a checkbox and you put it here. Which, if you want where you're gonna put it, so the next thing, choose the resolution you want. I generally go the high resolution, like 4096. I don't go 81 by 92 because that's overkill, but 4096 because I could go down from that. So I choose that resolution, and then I choose the folder I want it to be in. So let's say you don't want to go through your directories or whatever to get it. One of the best ways to do it, you just go into here, right click on here, go to body, show an explorer. You'll have the explorer open, click on body again, copy the address, go here, select it, paste the address, select the folder, and it'll be right there. The same thing, make sure the one you have checks. Sometimes they'll have both checked, but if the one you need, which is the main one, is this one or whatever the ones have it. But yeah, just click on that one, the one you need. PBR metallic roughness. Select the maps you want to use. Press export, and then now that it's exported, we go back into here, and it should overwrite it. And then there we go. Now you basically have overwritten it. Unlock it. It'll be locked when you publish it, or pre-locked when I package it, because when I test it out, it locks. But you just unlock it. You can adjust all the settings, and you could select the ones that you added, or any new ones you added, or maybe you did if you didn't want to overwrite the ones that were already here. It's fine. You can just the one way I do is I just make a new folder, drag and drop those there, and then do the same thing, put it in the other one, or vice versa. Maybe like make a new folder for your new textures, and then copy the address, paste it into here, and then export, and then you just go into here, lock the inspector so it doesn't go away because that's annoying when it does. You just drag and drop the things you need. So base color will be here, normal map will be here. I use, at least at the moment, stylized specular, but if you go with a specular workflow, which is not what I use, but if you use it, then you go here for reflection specular. They have options in here for like metallic, smoothness, reflection, specular mask. You just put them in here, merge it, it'll make a new pack, and then that's pretty much it. And then you'll have everything. And then that one thing when I showed about like 4090, like the resolution. Let's say you don't need it to be as a high resolution. You just select the ones you want, or select all of them, lower the resolution, press apply, and then now it's a lower resolution. It barely even changed at all unless you go really close. And then you just go into here. Let me just stop doing that because my mouse is busted. Select the one you want. Let's go for the planty again. And if it's a new texture you made, it might say, oh, the map or whatever. You just press auto fix, and then that's it. Oh, and then see the texture memory is still a little high. So let's go. Probably because I turned this one on. No. Let's see. What did it? This is 2.8 megabytes. 5.59. I am surprised it actually says that. Let's go 1024. Okay, so it's oh, I know now. So if it's saying that it's medium because the textures are too high resolution, it's because inside reflection and specular, it decided to take that. At least we thought. Yep, there we go. And now you can bring it back up to the resolution we want. Let's go 2048 again. And nothing has changed, so good. Now it's good performance again. And you basically do the same thing. You just give it a name, scene, capture the scene, or custom thumbnail, build and test, or if you're confident that everything's good, press this checkbox, and then well, give it a name, and then what do do it? Capture the scene. Forget capture. There we go. Then build and publish. So yeah, you have to do these first before you can build and publish it. And then there we go. That's kind of how I use it. So, and then the way and how I have everything here is should be pretty simple. Like I keeping everything pretty bare bones. You got textures for the head, you got textures for the eyes, you got missions, and a bodies folder. Just to keep everything organized. And the other one has the same thing, and the not safe for work one just has an extra thing in here, which if you go into texture set list, the safe for work synth has two materials it uses. You have the one for the glass, which you could toggle the thing here, or you could toggle this if you want for some reason. And if you want to work on the glass, you go into here, go to layers, and I don't really have anything, but you could, if you want to do stuff, then there you go. You can work on the glass material. And if for the not safe for work one, it has, well, not safe for work parts, which will also be here called bits or something like that. And if you want to texture that, you go into, you click on it, go into here, and do the same thing. And then you do the same process, select the folder, the area you want to export it, select the thing you are going to export, or the specific texture is going to export, select the resolution, export, and that's it really. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just showing how to, let's say you make some changes in Blender. I'm going to just show you how to what the settings I use for exporting from Blender to Unity, and maybe some things that might happen along the way. Now I'm going to show you on the Blender file, the Blender save that I have. So, do I not have it open? I accidentally closed it. That's okay. So, same thing. You'll have these here. So I already showed the substance file and where the Unity package is. These textures are mainly used for Blender. So I go in here. There's two versions. The not safe for work one, safe for work one. Of course, I'm gonna select the safe for work one. Just just safe. And if everything's right, because I packaged it with the textures, it should pop up. Of course, they'll pop up if I actually go into a little view ball. And also, again, like if you don't know how to use Blender, I would recommend looking at how to use Blender, at least like the basics on how to navigate and everything like that. Right now, I'm basically just showing how I have everything set up for here. So I just have a simple rig, nothing fancy, nothing special. Just, proposing at this moment or whatever. Uh, got simple IK and all that kind of stuff. And there's three different rigs. And then it also has the textures in it already. So everything is here. I do plan on updating this rig to be even more animation ready. I just wanted one, just a simple one so you could work with. But let's say you making changes to, I don't know, the mesh. The mesh has two armatures. I don't know, one says rig, one says armature. You can name it whatever, but it's just basically the controls. One for digi, one for planty, and then there is the not. Then there is the Quest version, which is just one, which is the planty version. And I basically have three rigs: one, two, and three. One's digi, and to a planty, but one of the planty ones is the Quest version. So if you're going to export the Quest version model, make sure you have the planty one selected. And if vice versa, if you want either, if you have a PC version or the high PC version, you select and you want either one digi or planty, you just select the one. And then there we go. Now we have that. And you can see the deform bones that I have. So these are all the bones that I set up. And then now let's say you made changes to the shape keys or whatever, and you want to know this like on how to export it. So how I go with it, at least my settings. So the first thing I'm gonna do the same thing I did. Same thing I did with the textures. So I just go in here in the imports folder. So this is basically where I import everything. So all of these don't have anything on them. They are just basically the prefabs and everything that will influence that's basically up here, what minus all the extra stuff. So I go in here, I copy the address, and then I select not only the mesh but the rig itself. And then I go to export FBX, and then just gonna just show you. So here, copy and paste it in here. Now you see everything. And then the settings I use, I'm just gonna show you. I just have made a custom tab called Unity Export, and then I just have selected objects, armature and mesh, FBX all, leave these be, apply modifiers, only deform bones, and no bake animations. And then once you have those settings, you just press the plus button, give it a name, and then now you have the settings that I use for exporting. And then let's say you are exporting the planty version for the high PC version. So this could get a little confusing because of the naming. So this is the planty version. So we have to select the BMSHP planty version. So this is the one. And then we just export FBX. Go back to here. And then nothing will really change, or at least hopefully nothing would change. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, depending on how drastic you made, like if you make changes to the model, or let's just say Unity has a habit of just undoing the settings for here for the rig, and it'll give you an error saying, "Oh, it's not there," but it's like it is there, but it doesn't work. So, uh, if that happens, you're gonna have to. I'm not gonna click it because it's gonna break it, but like you go to none or legacy, or actually no, none or generic. Press apply, put it back to humanoid, go to configure, then you'll see this. And then since this one is, oh, this one is the digi version, let me go back to, the planty version. There we go. Go to configure. And then you just have to go in the head. There'll be a thing that says jaw. Delete that. Left hand, it'll say index, but, or like, go in here, it'll have the index base. You want to basically replace it with deform index 1. So basically for index proximal, you put def index 1, intermediate def index 2, and just leave the third one be. Same thing for the middle. And I rarely the thumb has it, but if it does, then you do the same thing. Go to the right hand, and then you just press apply, then done. And then let's say you are let's say the digi version broke, which it's the same thing. You go into it, configure, same thing. The only extra thing is for the legs, it will use the planty legs, and then so it won't be here. It'll say digi legs or the other legs. So you got to search it, planty, or put PL, and then you'll have it, and you just drag and drop it to basically the core, the spots. So upper leg, planty thigh L, lower leg, planty shin L, foot, planty foot, toes, leave blank. Same thing for here, just leave it blank. Press done and apply. And it's not over yet for the Digi version. So once you have that, you have to go in here into the rig itself, the armature. Go into Digi thigh, shin, foot. Use add a rotation constraint. Add a plus. It'll be easier to have these three selected and then do the same thing. And then for the toes, you use a parent constraint. You add a plus, and that's only for the toes. And then what you'll basically be doing is you add for the thigh, you add the planty thigh. For the shin, you add the planty shin. And for the foot, you think it'd be the foot, but no, it goes back up to the thigh. And then for the toes, that would be the planty foot. And then you do that for the left leg and the right leg. And then you just press activate and should work. Oh, actually another thing too. Another thing, just so you know, because this could also happen as well. I use a little gizmo to make it easier. So sometimes the fingers would decide to just crunch like that. Just hold down control and go increment snapping and it'll go back into position. Same thing. Apply and done. And then there we go. Everything should be good. So I'm just showing that right here right now. So if there's any weirdness, then at least you'll have something on how to fix it. Oh, and because you change the rig and everything like that, the tail would lose its fizz bones, but that's simple. You just go add a component, add fizz bone, and then you'll have that. You'll have basically this, and then for the root, you just add deform tail 001 into here. You adjust your settings. These are the settings for the angle limit 25. For the collision, this has to be more than just absolute 0 if you want people to grab it or bump into it or whatever, if you want that. At least that's the first thing. But then, you could go, is it here? Grab, then you could, but let's say you don't want people to grab it or don't want people to pose it, you could just turn it off here, but you still need to have this if you want these settings to work. So, and that's the other part. That's the rig problem that could happen. The other one is because that happens, it completely just it deletes the avatar descriptor. Why? I don't know. But it's a simple thing. So you do the same thing, add a component, avatar descriptor. It'll be blank in here. It'll say auto or something like that. Press it, and if it's the right one selected, it'll just fill it. And then if it doesn't, you just go into here, select it, drag and drop the mesh into here for the Visine blend shape, and then it should pop up. And actually, there's another thing too. Just as also another thing that could potentially go wrong if you're doing something in Blender and you're bringing it to Unity. Because Blender has this other thing where, depending on the modifier, excluding the armature, even though it's considered a modifier, if you have like a mirror modifier, if you have a subdivision modifier, or any modifier, because they have shape keys, or blend shapes, whichever you want to call it, and you try to export it, it will omit the blend shapes, and you could end up just having no blend shapes inside Unity. So let's say you really want that modifier. I mean, the first thing is to apply the modifier before you make shape keys. But let's say you forgot, like I do at times. There is an add-on which it allow you to force apply the modifiers even with shape keys to it. I'll provide a link to it. It's just a thing you download for free, and then you just go into file, or you go into edit, preferences, add-ons, install. Let's see if I could even find it. Shape key. No, it's not. It doesn't say it here. But you're gonna press install. Install the add-on you just got by pressing install add-on, and it should be active. And then you should have the option here, apply chosen modifiers, and you could choose what you want to apply. I'll provide a link to it, so let's say you fall into that issue, at least now you know. So if so the other two things, so sometimes you won't find it, or maybe it doesn't even it got rid of the shape keys because you had a modifier, so use that add-on, apply the modifier, and then you export it again and it should pop up again. And that's another thing that could happen. And then now for the view ball can either end up here sometimes or far away. This is basically, it's always going to be like a fine-tuning thing. So sometimes it'll be better farther, a little further back, a little higher, a little lower. So it'll take a little bit of back and forth of building and test and see. But you just put that in position, and then you could go from there. I just have a simple blend shapes. I just choose blend shapes, choose the same thing, the mesh of the one I'm using, blink. You could test to see if it works. And then there we go for the FX layer. It will be blank. You have to just click on it, and you just go into, let's just lock it, FX, safe for work or not safe for work depending on the one you're working on. You just drag and drop into here. And then for the menu, this will be blank as well. You just basically select the menu master. And then for the parameters, which is in the parameter folder, safe for work parameters, you just drag that in there, and then everything should be good, and then you'd be able to upload it. And then, you know, the same things. If it says error about maps or whatever, or the other ones where it says like write defaults with the same thing I described, and that sometimes I might accidentally have something here. You can just go into the animator, select it, delete it, and it should clear that issue, and then you should be good to go. This is basically everything there. So the export settings I use, put it to the directory, an error that could happen, or the two errors about the rig and how to set it up, and then that add-on, which is free, that I'll provide a link for it for you to use. So that's everything right there. And the not safe for work is the same thing. It just has the not safe for work stuff. So yeah, I think that's everything. If not, I'll probably make an update to the video and or another one adds onto it. But anyway, that's everything.